ongoing thing.
At 14, Stephen knew that he would pursue mathematics and physics. His father called this impractical, for there were no jobs in mathematics except teaching. Moreover, he wanted his son to attend his own college, and Oxford offered no mathematics. He followed his father's advice and studied chemistry, physics, and only a little mathematics in preparation for the entrance into Oxford. He did well in physics, and the interview was brilliantly accepted. So, when he was just 14 years of age, he wants to learn mathematics and physics. And his father, he told him that it is no use to learn mathematics other than by studying it you can become a teacher of mathematics. So, he wants his son to concentrate more in chemistry and physics, and only very little in mathematics, because mathematics was not a subject of great scope in those days. It was only for teaching. So the other subjects like physics and chemistry were in great demand, and that can offer more different types of jobs. So from that idea in his mind, the father told him to study physics and chemistry more seriously, or physics and chemistry than mathematics. So he learned physics and chemistry and only a little bit of mathematics. And then he got an entrance into Oxford. In 1959, at the age of 17, Hawking went to Oxford to study natural science and to specialize in physics. He joined University College, his father's college, and the oldest at Oxford, founded in 1249 AD. And then he joined his father's college, and at the age of 17, he went to Oxford and studied natural science and specialized in physics. Nevertheless, for about a year and a half, Hawking was lonely and bored. He was not inspired to relieve his boredom by exerting himself academically. But halfway through his second year, he began enjoying Oxford. So, when he joined in Oxford, the first year and half of the next year, 1.5 years, he was not very happy because he was suffering from boredom and he did not have any good friends, and he was not happy in those times. The first year and half of the next year, the time he spent in Oxford. He became popular and well accepted among his peers. But the things changed in the second year. The second year, he got more friends, and his peers or his other group members, his friends, they really accepted him. They loved him very much, and he started enjoying his time in Oxford. He became popular and well accepted among his peers. They remember him as lively, buoyant, and adaptable. He wore his hair long, was famous for his wit, liked classical music and science fiction, and took part in sports. So this is not the Stephen Hawking that we see at the beginning of this lesson when he came for his lecture. So we are going to see what happened to this man. Why is he now on the wheelchair? And he was a very studious person when he was studying at Oxford. Everybody loved him very much, and he has got long hair, and he was well known for his knowledge and wisdom, his wit, and he was interested in music, science, sports, etc. However, at the end of third year, Hawking almost floundered. He selected theoretical physics as his specialty. He had then applied to do a PhD at Cambridge and was accepted on condition that he got first from Oxford. Hawking was confident that he could get through successfully, but as the examination day approached, his confidence failed. Hawking ended up disastrously on the borderline between a first and second. And he has already applied for a a doctor's degree, that means a PhD in the Cambridge University. And in order to get this admission for doing a PhD, he needed to get a first in Oxford. And he was very hopeful about it, and he was very excited, and he thinks that he can easily get through that examination and becomes the first. But unfortunately, towards the end of it, he was a bit disappointed, and he was not able to get a first. Instead, he got only a second. And now, faced with a borderline result, the examiners summoned Hawking for an interview and questioned him about his plans. In spite of the tenseness of the situation, Hawking managed to come up with a kind of remark for which he was famous among his friends. "If I get a first, I shall go to Cambridge. If I receive a second, I will remain at Oxford. So I expect that you will give me a first." He got his first and he went to Cambridge. So his plan was to go for a higher studies, to do a PhD in theoretical physics, but for that, for getting admission for that PhD course, he has to get first in Oxford. But unfortunately, he could score only a second. So the team from Cambridge, they called him for a personal interview and asked him about his decision, whether he likes to join them in the PhD program or not. To that, he gives a reply, and that became a very famous reply. This is what he said: "If I get a first, I shall go to Cambridge. If I receive a second, I will remain at Oxford. So I expect that you will give me a first." So these words of Stephen Hawking really surprised the interviewers, who found that he is very strong in his decision to pursue his dream of becoming a scientist and to study more about theoretical physics. So if he is getting a first, he is now ready to go to Cambridge, and if he is not getting the first, or if he is getting a second, then he will spend one more year in Oxford and make that again first, and then join them afterwards. So anyway, seeing this strong decision, he has already decided in his mind what he is going to do. He really wants to be a scientist. That's the ambition, that's his dream. So the people who interviewed Stephen Hawking was very happy, and they gave him an admission for a PhD course. His first year at Cambridge. Okay, now we are coming to what he did at Cambridge. His first year at Cambridge was worse than at Oxford. His slipshod mathematical background caught up with him, and he found general relativity extremely tough. Another far more disastrous problem arose then. During his third year at Oxford, Hawking started getting clumsy. He had fallen once or twice for no apparent reason. The following autumn at Cambridge, he had trouble tying his shoes, and sometimes he had difficulty talking. So it was at this time, when he was doing his PhD course in Cambridge, that the first sign of his disease or his illness appears. The first few signs of the serious illness that is going to make him crippled and paralyzed for the rest of his life. The first few signs were like this, that he fell down without any reason. When he is just walking, he is falling down without slipping, he just falling down. And also when he tried to tie his shoes in the autumn season, when he was trying to tie his shoes, he feels that he cannot do it. For tying the shoes and other things, the correct way of the body and the brain should work in the correct way. Then only we can do this type of things. So there is some kind of problems with him. He is not able to do certain things, and also he feels some problems in speaking. He is not able to speak. Sometimes his speaking, the way he speaks is not clear. So some problem is coming for Stephen Hawking.